This rock I'm sitting on is about 2 billion years old, and it'll probably be here for another 2 billion years. They don't keep tearing it up like they are down here to widen the highway. I remember these rocks from a long time ago, and a lot of the images in my songs are drawn from this kind of country. I've been a lot of places, and I've seen some nice country, and I don't think any of it will ever stay with me or impress me as much as this country here in Muskoka. This is part of the Canadian Shield, this rock, which sort of starts about 4 miles south of here, and you don't see any more of it after that. It's the country that I grew up in. One of the really great adventures that we used to have when we were kids was morel hunting. Morel is a fungus. It's sort of like a mushroom, and it's very good to eat. We'd all be sitting around the supper table, my sister and my mother and I, and Dad had come home from work, and he'd say it was about morel time again. This was May or June. And we'd get into our raincoats and rubber boots, and we'd drive out maybe to Hawkstone or Oro Station. We'd get out of the car and find ourselves a pasture or a little wood somewhere. That's where the morels grew. And the trilliums would be out in great abundance at that time, and numerous other species of wildflowers that you'd see only in your books. And the wet bark on the trees and the stumps, and you were in another world, like a walk in the Black Forest. And it was raining, and you had your raincoat on, and you were warm and dry, and it didn't matter because Dad was close by. But you had to watch out for the herds of cows. They were a little jumpy in the spring, and you didn't want to spook them. Being only 10 years old, a cow would look pretty big to you. So you had to be careful. You didn't want to spook those cows. These few things that I can count on my fingers and toes, these little landscapes or images, they come up in all my songs. Or any song that I write about which has to do with nature or any type of a thing where they're just a backdrop, that's all they are. You're not writing about that particular field or that particular bush that you see. It's just a background. It's a backdrop for the idea and the concept that you're working on. Back down the river, there's a little bridge where we used to go and fish. We were kids, and it was within bicycle range. And the game there was rock bass and suckers. And they used to congregate under the bridge, the safety of the bridge and the shadows. And there were pipes that went along the side of the bridge that they used for drainage. And we used to look down through these pipes at the fish. And occasionally we would put a line down through one of the pipes. If we'd caught a fish that way, we probably wouldn't have gotten them through the pipe anyway, but we used to do it. The point is, it was the first place where this thing happened, you know, like we actually realized that you were doing something. You know, this was really important. Go out and yank out 15 or 20 rock bass, that was really important. Orillia is a very small town, and the only time it really opens up is in the summertime. It's not terribly exciting the rest of the year. But there was a lot of excitement there if you were a youngster. There were lots of places you could go. There were gravel pits and hills and rivers, and lots of places you could go. To me, walking in the bush was, like to my dad, walking in the bush was going out to find something, to hunt, or to find mushrooms, or to go and fish, specifically. Well, all this nature was around him, whereas myself, I could be happy just to go and walk in the bush.
Well, I used to try to go with them as much as I could. You can't always go every time they want you to go fishing and hunting and so on. But, and we used to fish from North River and out at Marchmount, and we used to get the suckers out there. Maybe caught them a little illegally from time to time, but there were all kinds of them there. I can't remember many places where we were, and yet young Gordy can remember these places. He can remember them just like as if he was there yesterday, and it's quite a few years ago that some of these places that we were. He got all his music actually from his mother. She's very musical.
Well, Mom's my greatest fan. She always, you know, she's very, very much interested in what I do, naturally, you know. She follows everything and watches, like if I'm on television, she watches and she phones everybody, and And this is really great, you know. She's right. She's 100% behind what's going on.
He was always in things all through school, always singing at something. And Mr. Dobson, the principal of the Westward School, had Gordy make a recording, just a little cardboard thing at Christmas time that he had the hook up all through the Westward School into all the rooms. And Gordy sang this song. What was the name of it, Gordy?
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us.
That other little ditty that he used to sing when he was just a little kid. Tooralura, tooralura, yes.
I remember the day the principal called me down to the office, and I said, oh, what have I done? Because our principal was pretty stern, and if he called you up over the intercom, you knew you were in trouble. But when I walked in, I was standing there trembling in the corner, waiting for whatever punishment he was going to dish out. He said, we'd like you to... First of all, he complimented me on my singing. He'd found out that I could sing, you see, at this time, so he wanted me to make a little record to play on Parents' Day. And that was the first record I ever cut.
And we still have the little record, and it's just made of cardboard, and it's all cracked and noisy, but we still have it anyway. We wouldn't part with that.
You know, a little bit later on, I started singing with a local dance band here. And we played at various places. We played up in Muskoka, we played down at Beaverton. And I was drumming and singing. You see, my job was it was like a very early Ringo Starr. Except we were playing those old charts like Stardust and things like that.
And he used to have kids to the house all the time, and they would set their instruments up in the living room, the set of drums and all their paraphernalia. And that sometimes would sit there for a week, and I would work around it. But we didn't ever chase the kids out. We used to let them come all the time and practice and have their music. And Gordy was always encouraged, and they used to play the piano, and they just about put Gordon and I right out of the house, the noise.
There was a lot to be gained, really, by growing up outside of the city and then going into the city and taking this feeling with you, you know. It made the city more livable, although now the city to me is home. I mean, the bigger the city, the better I like it.